Hey there fellow creators, Ben here from Snipit Studios, and it's time for that end of the year in review, the annual message to my subscribers. Stick around. So as always, I just want to start out by saying thank you. Thank you for watching this stuff on this channel. Thank you for liking, commenting, subscribing, all that fun stuff over the past year and the years prior. I would not still be doing this without the support of you guys and this awesome community here on YouTube. So thank you for being a subscriber and for watching. If you're seeing this and you're not a subscriber yet, do so in advance. I don't usually like saying it at the beginning, but this place here on YouTube and this channel really is sort of a family and a community of people that I'm really, really grateful for. So thank you for being a subscriber to Snipit Studios. Now for the two big things for the this video, and that's always the year in review, both personally and artistically, as well as things to look forward to for here on the channel next year. So this is actually, in sort of my personal life, been a really tough year. I've had a lot of issues with just motivation, wanting to actually make the weekly videos, in addition to just a whole bunch of like financial stuff that I got hit with this year. I had about $2 grand in car repairs that I had to take care of. I broke my tablet, had to get a new one of those. Plus, just like between family and friends, like everybody seemed to have just kind of a crappy year. Like everyone's getting hit with just financial things and different things like that. From the one big highlight, at least on the personal side of things, was I had got a house guest for a couple of weeks. Fans of the long-term fans of the channel might remember a guy by the name username Apology89, who was big into a lot of the live shows back when they were still more of a community thing, and they were done through Google+. We became friends over the years. He came out, we got to paint together, I got to show him my city a lot, and it was really a blast. So that was kind of like my one bigger highlight for the year, at least sort of in personal stuff. But other than that, it's just kind of been like a whole lot of crap back to back to back all year long, and I'm kind of glad the year's kind of coming to a close, because I could use a better and more refreshing year. Now, outside of the personal stuff, I've actually had a good, successful art year, outside of all the terrible personal crap that's been happening. Most recently has been the giveaway that I did. There was a lot of feedback I got on that, and a lot of people entered to that giveaway, and I was really surprised, not just how many people really wanted a paint set, but the stories and the reasoning you guys gave behind that, it really kind of lifted me up for the sake of the community here, because it really kind of showed me that there is a desire to, one, have good materials, and two, to really push your work further and to push yourself more as an artist. And even to get started maybe where you don't have the ability to do so. So it really kind of cemented the concept of what I'm doing on this channel is actually kind of making an impact, and that was really cool. For those wondering, I will be doing another art supply giveaway next year, probably similarly sometime in the late summer to mid-early fall. Sort of that, I would say Q3, I guess, if you're looking at it that way. For one of those, and I think I want to do a drawing package for that, but that's, you know, really far out. But just getting the feedback that I did through doing that giveaway this year, I thought was really good, and I think it's going to give me a good platform for next year to take what I learned from that and maybe even do two prize packages rather than just one. In terms of my own art, it's really been a big growth year too, and just my skills and painting and pushing my ideas to new areas and to new heights. In the past 6 months especially, because I've been playing with some more dynamic ideas, pushing my contrast more, and trying to push some extra characters into my pieces rather than just the little stick figures that I've kind of put into all my pieces, which have really become a style and signature element for a lot of my work. But I'm pushing to maybe get some of the ideas I had in college with more like cartoon-type characters, and trying to find ways to interject those into my paintings without making them feel like they're lost or they don't belong. So that's really been a challenge, but also a good challenge, and I think a good step forward in pushing my work further. And the last thing artistically that is probably the most exciting is my art collective, Red Fishbowl, who I've been with since, I believe it was 2015, I think, maybe 2014. Actually, that sounds more right. So I've been with them for 4 or 5 years now. And I've been doing pop-up shows all around the city, art markets and that kind of thing. And it's what has kind of propelled me into more of the professional market. And I've definitely have learned a lot over that period of time. But one thing that always kind of bugged me is I was never able to really kind of get into sort of a gallery setting. I had a couple of gallery shows that I did, some things that I organized myself, as well as some things I just kind of stuck one piece in here and there. And the feedback's always been kind of mixed, whether I get a good sale or not. It's really just been like, maybe, maybe not, but leaning probably towards the maybe not. So my art collective, run by my art manager, I actually want to give him a shout out in this video, Chris Balls. Incredible guy. His ability to find both promoters and buyers and venues has been unparalleled, and he's just basically able to take what I do in the studio and takes all the guesswork out of it for me, and he can worry about finding a venue and somewhere that can house my work that is conducive to the stuff that I do. There's a lot of people I've worked with over the years, a lot of artists that they can sell anywhere. You know, they could pop up on a street corner and sell 50 pieces. I can't do that. My work is a little more niche for that. And I've always wanted to push away from the clubs and the bars and into a setting that is more refined and more respected than just people getting drunk and be like, yeah, maybe I'll buy a print because I'm wasted. So my collective opened up a gallery space in the Lawrenceville neighborhood of Pittsburgh this year. It's literally 5 minutes, I think it's, well, 7, I think, if you can count the traffic. 7-8 minutes down the road and from where I live, and it's exactly what I've been waiting for and hoping for since I sort of started breaking in and trying to sell my work as far back as 2012. So now, if you happen to visit Pittsburgh or live in Pittsburgh, my art has a permanent home now, and I have about anywhere from 8 to 12 pieces on display at any given time in the gallery. Plus, I'm working on an installed piece there that is sellable but is sort of semi-permanent. Plus, I've got 2 more projects in the wings, maybe a third one. So I've basically a lot of stuff in the pipeline right now for me, and it's right where I wanted to be and where I've wanted to be all along as a professional artist. So I'll leave a. Actually, you can just find it on my website. I'll say I'll leave a link, but the info is on my website on the events page. You can just find the address there. But having a permanent home for my work has actually been huge. The gallery's been open since I think late October, and I've already sold a painting and like 8 prints or something like that. It's kind of been crazy. It's like I've been getting every couple weeks. It's like, hey, you sold another print. I'm like, really? Like, this is crazy. But it's really been an incredible blessing to have now a space for where my art lives and resides, and I finally have the venue I've been waiting for. So that's sort of been my year, but I know what you guys are thinking. Like, okay, that's fine. What's actually coming up next? And I know that's kind of what you guys really are interested in. So first things first, over the past 2 messages to my subscribers in the past 2 years, I talked about trying to start producing an art history video series. In the 2 years ago, it was like, hey, next year I'm going to get it written. Last year was, hey, next year I'm actually going to get it written. Well, it's this year again, I still have not gotten it written. So I figured the only way I can actually do this and want to do it and get it done is to just start it. Not write them all in advance, just start it and just start plugging away doing it. So the goal, and I'm really going to try hard to achieve a lot of the goals I'm setting for myself next year, is to, in the spring, start doing them 2 a month. So every other Wednesday from probably about March or April through the end of the year, because I think it's like a 20-something part series. I outlined it a long time ago, just like hitting all the eras. And it's something like 23 or something individual videos that would need made. So I want to start sort of I have written an outline for just like an introduction, sort of to why art history is important, and that'll launch sometime probably about a month or two prior to that series actually starting. But it's in the pipeline now. I'm actually going to make it a point to release those videos on a regular schedule every other Wednesday for the course of the year, starting sometime in the spring. As I just mentioned about my art collective's gallery space, what's cool about the gallery space is it's not just strictly a gallery, it's sort of a big community event space. So I have a plan definitely next year, again if you're in the city of Pittsburgh and are interested in this, of starting to develop at least 1 or 2 workshops for the year. So something that I can do that's maybe based on a technique that I use or a couple of techniques that I use, to then sort of basically teach a small class on like maybe a weekday evening or something for that. A friend of mine does actually figure drawing classes there with a live model twice a month. So I think it's, as long as I give it a little more thought and figure out what I can kind of plan out, or even it's just sort of like a live demo where I'm talking about what I'm doing, which probably would make more sense for me. I think that could be a really good step going forward, and it would allow me to utilize the space that I have, as well as continue to build up the community as well. So I'm really looking forward to doing some of that. Back to ideas for longer productions for the channel. I also want to, and this may not even happen next year, but it's definitely something I want to play with, and it's something I've been thinking about for a long time. So I guess about 3 or 4 years ago, that I made a free how to draw ebook. It sits on my website and just lives there. Anyone can download it and grab it and use it. But I want to create, I think, sort of a video version of that, where I'm taking a lot of those lessons. So I want to do something really foundational, something that where I really dive into and really kind of in depth on the basics of and the fundamentals of drawing and painting. Because I think that's something I've kind of been lacking a little bit on this channel. It's just been some of that core foundational stuff. I've got a lot of like quick tutorials and how to paint trees and rocks and clouds and stuff, but I want to get something that's a little more concrete, something that you can paint literally or draw literally anything if you just know some of that foundational stuff. And of course I want to say there are a lot of people that do that, and they do it very well. I'm not saying I can do it any better than they can. I probably can't, but I think my approach to things hopefully is just a little bit different, and maybe would help at least one person maybe see something that they haven't been able to see with some of the other people and the other teachers they've been learning from. Another thing I've been kicking around is possibly publishing a book. I've been working on a fantasy novel for probably coming up on like 10 years now. I rewrote it in 2017 and part of 2018. And I've kind of been kicking around with some friends and family and letting people read it. And my thing has always been, I don't ever want to publish this or anything like that. It's just a story for me, and you know, it's a thing that I want to tell. But the more I've kind of sat with it, I'm like, you know, it wouldn't hurt to just try, you know, see if I can find a writing agent and see if there's literally any interest in the book whatsoever. So it's a thought. I've also had the idea of just like, it needs a nice heavy edit, but just like throw it on Amazon for $1 and, you know, see if anyone finds any interest in it there. So it's something that's kind of in the back of my mind a little bit. In addition to all the paintings and occasional music things that I do, and I'm also writing a novel trilogy, so that's just sort of a thing on the back burners that I might actually start pushing forward a little bit. So 2 more things I'm going to say look forward to next year. One of them not so much. I've had a Patreon page for the past couple of years. That community just has been not growing at all, and I've been plugging in a ton, but I haven't really had the support on that I was hoping to get. So I think for 2020 I'm going to suspend the Patreon account, quit plugging it in the videos for at least for a little while. I may go back to it in the future, I'm not sure, but right now it's just not worth keeping the page open, just because honestly I don't feel that it's worth my time to do, and it's just like one more headache that I really don't have time for. And last but not least, of course, you're going to see a lot of the same stuff that you already love on this channel. Not getting rid of any tips, tutorials, or any of that fun stuff that I already do. It's just I'm trying to supplement in some new ideas and some new things like that to kind of jump the gun a little bit in terms of my motivation issues from this year to try and push some ideas a little bit further into next year. The upcoming weeks here, you're going to see. I wanted it to be a time-lapse painting for the end of the year, but that painting probably won't be done until really close to New Year's, so that'll probably be the first new video for the new year. It's just a regular old acrylic time-lapse. I've got a big, it's like a 1 by 3 foot canvas that I'm working on. I really love the piece and how it's turning out, but right now I can't get it done and crunch it before the new year. Outtakes, as always, are coming up. It should be next week by the time you're seeing this. As well as, again, if you're seeing this video the day it comes out, I actually missed last week entirely, completely forgot to make a video. So you're actually getting 2 videos this week. It's just an extra little tutorial for the end of the year. And that's pretty much it. That's really all that's kind of in the pipeline in the short term, and that's everything that was in the pipeline in the long term. So yeah, it's been an interesting year. Kind of crappy in a lot of ways. Couple of nice high points between my friend coming in the gallery, but outside of that, fairly muted, I guess you could say. But yeah, that's where things are for the year, and I hope to see you guys next year more following around this channel, sharing it around. I didn't really talk about subscriber counts this year because honestly, once I passed, I think 5,000 or 6,000, it was just like now it's just counting and going. I am planning something for when I hit 10,000. I want to sort of tell my artistic story, but I don't even foresee that hitting next year unless something insane happens and I put a video up that gets really popular and a lot of people subscribe. But it's a slow process here when you're making content that is, I would say, educational but doesn't have an insanely high level of production value, because my focus is on the project and not on the video. At least in the grand scheme of things. So again, thank you for being a subscriber to this channel. I appreciate you guys so much. You're the reason why I keep doing this. If you're seeing this and you're not subscribed, get subscribed. Hit the like button. It helps everything out. Check me out on the social links that are available in the description box below. If you live in Pittsburgh, check me out at the Red Fishbowl Gallery in Lawrenceville. And this has been with Cinderblock Studios. Keep on creating, and I'll see you guys next time. I'm so used to putting Patreon at the end now. I'll have to get myself out of that. So, that should be interesting. Trying to rework the outro for next year.